So, welcome to this special edition of the Wrestling Hypothesis podcast where we break the hype, expose the truth, and speak for the fans who sees the business for what it really is today. Because if you ain't talking, I ain't watching. I'm your boy Ricardo with my main man Kenny. How you doing, bro?
Hey, that's a loaded question, honestly,
I
right
feel
now.
you.
It is
I
a
feel
loaded
you.
question. Just
Yes,
coming
it
off
is.
of the high that was, Cena's last match.
Yes.
At Saturday night's main event. It was insane, man. It was insane. Let's just go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. You got a little bit of technical difficulties on the end, so I would say fix your connection a little bit in terms of that aspect. But like,
My connection.
yeah,
Is
yours
good.
a little bit, just a little bit.
No,
It
my
is?
connection is good.
Okay,
I
because
can hear you loud and clear.
oh, so I think it's the connectivity because you're kind of blurry, but I think you're pretty good at least. But
What
it'll
do you
fix
mean, like
itself.
blurry, like the camera, or
Yeah,
or
I think
just-
it's your camera. I think it's your camera.
No, the camera's good, bro.
You good? Okay.
Camera's good. Yeah.
All right. So, all right, just want to make sure. All right. So, pretty much, obviously, we just got to get to the nitty gritty straight up. So, John Cena's retirement match was literally last night, his last match ever in WWE that went off as a banger, a hell of a match that he had with Gunther. Fast forward to the match, people didn't like the ending of the match of how John Cena vividly looked into the camera and tapped out on Gunther's chokehold near the end of the match and seemingly tap out, in which WWE focused on the storyline of quote unquote John Cena never giving up after 23 years, and he finally taps out. So the question that we must say to ourselves, do we like, love, or hate the match between John Cena and Gunther? Kenny, what you think, bro?
Okay, so there are layers to this match. Okay.
Yes.
I don't think anyone in the wrestling community can look at this match objectively and basically say they hate this match. The match
Right.
itself, let's be honest, that was a good match.
Agreed.
Was it the best match of the John Cena retirement run? No, it was not. That would happen to be Cody Rhodes versus Cena at SummerSlam earlier this year.
Or
Okay?
AJ Styles.
Or AJ Styles. But was it the best match of John Cena's year? No, it wasn't the best match of the year. However, it's probably in the top 5, top 6, or top 7. But it was a good match. Okay. And I thought both of them did a very good job in terms of telling the story, the back and forth there, the near falls. So I had no problems with the match itself. Now, initial reaction, I've had a little under 24 hours to sleep on the results of this match. Okay.
Yep.
At first, I'll tell you, much like every other person, I'm like, Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, Respect, Mr. Never Give Up is actually giving up, is actually tapping out.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. There's no excuse for the biggest superstar of the modern era looking the way he looked, closing out his career, tapping out. I couldn't believe they did that. I couldn't believe Triple K, issued that. Like, okayed it. I couldn't believe it, but they did. So last night, after the show, after the dust kind of settles, after all the emotions from the show kind of just, came down, I was left with my thoughts and my own feelings. And the conclusion that I've came up to, because as an Ultimate Cena fan, I think,
Yes.
we're left like there's this. I don't think if you didn't get any closure watching that match, you're shit out of luck, because Cena's never coming back into the ring. So we were forced to deal with the emotions of that match as it was presented to us. And my decision is that this is a Cena decision, right? My conclusion is that this is a Cena decision. This is what he wanted. This is the position that he wanted to put the business. He wanted to pay it forward. I think he's been saying it all year. Let's see. Give me 1 second.
You got technical difficulties, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, but you're the way is your connection is like fizzing in and out based on the way I'm looking at you. But I don't know if it's your camera or your connectivity based
it's not
on
the camera.
what's going on.
It's probably just connectivity. But is there a lag right now?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there is.
I mean that's gonna be But anyway, I'll continue. You can let me know if it goes on again. But anyway,
I got you.
So the conclusion that I came up with is that this is the decision that Cena wanted, and whether we like it or not, we're all gonna have to be okay with it, because at the end of the day, we're sitting here looking at what this is, and we got to call it like we see it. You know, this is what he wanted to do. This is what he wanted to give back to the business in his way. Think about it. Mr. Never Give Up just gave up. What does that tell
Yeah,
you?
it's
That
lagging again.
means,
Yes.
okay. All right. Go on. Go on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay, bro. So I'll continue when you speak when you get better connectivity. I mean, I got you. So pretty much, like, love or hate the match, I loved the match because it felt like a straight up wrestling match between Gunther and John Cena. And the fact that it went the length the way that it went through, you felt it felt nostalgic. It felt like the next hurdle that John Cena himself had to go through in terms of fighting Gunther. But the end result in terms of him tapping out, it was like a wow moment in terms of the way that it happened. Now, I wasn't mad about the match. I was actually surprised about the ending of how it ended due to the fact that John Cena vividly looked at us in the camera and just tapped out. Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect in terms of the mantra of never giving up finally gave up in terms of tapping out after 23 years. And the fans in the arena was like a holy shit moment. But the thing is, the fans in the arena doesn't really understand the concept of the business of pro wrestling due to the fact that, like, his time was ending. It was a matter of time of what was going to happen to John Cena in terms of him fighting Gunther. If people thought Gunther was not going to win that match, you're delusional. Due to the fact that Gunther is in his prime, and not this is the second superstar that he, of terms of a legend standpoint, that he ultimately retired near the end of their own run. He did Goldberg, and now the big one is John Cena, right? So the concept of folks saying that Gunther should have lost or John Cena should have won that match, it's irrelevant because it doesn't conclude anything, and it doesn't show the maturation of the next step that needs to be taken, right? So Gunther winning that match was the right thing to do in terms of the match between John Cena and Gunther. Now, if people saying like John Cena would have passed out or John Cena had the 1, 2, 3, they would have been cool with that. But people are filled with emotion based on how the ending went down rather than looking at the whole concept. And the fact that it was John Cena's idea to tap out, to ultimately conclude of the matter of giving up, makes his own seal of approval in terms of John Cena handling the way that he wanted to go out the best way he knows how.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's pretty much what, you know, the conclusion that I came up to as well.
Yes.
You know, like,
yes.
The man wanted to go out this way. He wanted to, you know, pay it forward to the business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Yeah.
this is a sick, like, for all of you dumbasses that say, oh, Cena is gonna come back at, you know, at the Royal Rumble, and he's gonna come back at WrestleMania. Well, if this is any indication that he's not gonna come back, this is it. If there's any indication that he wasn't going to come back, this is it. He just tapped out, which means his whole character of never giving up, he just gave up in front of the whole world. So
yes,
he ain't coming back. That's it. That is it. It's over. Done. So that's really, you know, my takeaway from all of that.
Yeah. So it's really straight to the point, and I'm glad that John Cena went out like that, because I personally didn't have a problem of the way he went out, because the fact that we ultimately found out that it was him that wanted to way that he wanted to go out like that. You just got to step back and be like, yo, the man deserves his flowers. He wanted to go out that way. You got to accept it. And folks got to move on. Folks got to move on in terms of the way that the man himself wanted to go out that way, right? So it is what it is. So we got to call a spade, and salute to John Cena, the greatest of all time, of course. But after the match, after the show was over, all heads turned to Triple H. What grabbed my attention about Triple H was when, after the match was over, Triple H and Stephanie obviously came out with the rest of the roster, the main roster, and the fans booed this man out the building. Now, fans like us and other folks have been clamoring at Triple H, going on him ever since this year started. And we now have to have an honest review. Let's keep it a buck, no BS, gotta call it a spade. In terms of the way how Triple H handled this run in 2025, what are your initial thoughts of what Triple H went down? Not with just the retirement run, but the whole year.
That Triple H is the worst booker in wrestling history. And
Go
I
ahead,
don't
man.
say this, and I don't say this lightly, right? And I have the facts to prove it.
Okay.
If you look at all of the stars that Triple H took over, inherited from Vince, right? He inherited Cena.
Yes.
He inherited Orton. Basically, he inherited all of the SmackDown, the Elite Five, really, like the Ortons, the Cena. I think he had
Mysterio,
Roman.
Seth Rollins,
He had
Brock Lesnar,
yeah, he had him too. CM Punk,
CM Punk, yep. Cody.
he had Cody, right? And then there's some other guys too, like Braun Breaker. You
Yep.
know, we could go on and on.
Yeah, you go. It's a long list, very long list.
The whole point is this: I don't even want to know. Like, the company was in a very, very good spot when you look at it prior to Vince leaving. The company was in a very, very good spot. You basically just came off the COVID, situation.
Yes.
And you also, have to look at the fact that during that time, Roman Reigns was at the height of his
Career.
tribal chief run, right? So you have that going, obviously. And let's just look at what has happened since then, okay? The Roman Reigns character pivot, right? Cody wins. He eventually goes on to have some, pretty much meaningless feuds with people feuds that we don't even remember, like what was Cody's most memorable feud that he had during his tenure as champion?
Kevin Owens.
Right. And that should tell you a lot, shouldn't it? You can't sit here and definitively say that Cody has been on a tear since he won that title, right?
Yes.
If you want to judge a booker, look at his record against
Cody records.
No. You look at his record with what he does with his top titles, with his top champion, right? If you can book your top champion very well, you'll generally have a good show, because the rule of thumb is if your best match, right? If your best match is the championship match, is the World Heavyweight Championship match, you'll be able to kind of revolve the whole company around that, right?
Yes.
And prior to Cody taking over, you look at Roman. His match was must-see. His matches were must-see. He was a must-see character, right? And every single show, whether good or bad, revolved around Roman.
Yes.
Right? And even if it was a B show, right, you knew that Roman match was going to be good. That Roman match was going to be filled with great storytelling, and we were going to get our money's worth at the end of the night. Cody never made us feel like that. So you had all of these matches that were not memorable, for the most part, right? And then you were so desperate that you needed Cena to turn heel in order to create some headlines, right? Like, that is your claim to fame as a head booker. And if you want to say that Triple H was the one that pulled the trigger, but let's not act like heel Cena has never been in the works before Triple H took over. Heel Cena has always been in the works, since long before Triple H took over, right?
Yes.
Cena said it himself. With Vince, they wanted to turn him heel. They had all the memorabilia ready. They had all the music ready. They were ready to do it, right? It was just not, the deal with Mattel just fell through, and they just couldn't make that heel turn in time. So he inherited a very, very good roster. He inherited a very, very good situation with Cena's retirement, right? And a few weeks ago on this show, I said, with WrestleMania 40 in tow, when Triple H took over, all he had to do was not fuck it up.
Yes, a lot of people agreed with you about that. Absolutely.
Hey,
TikTok, YouTube.
Listen, all he had to do was not fuck it up. And the way I saw it, with Triple H inheriting this great roster, all he had to do was not fuck it up. And let me look into my camera, and I'll tell you guys this. All you had to do was not fuck it up, Triple H. And you did. You found a way to take the best wrestling roster in the world and fuck it up. To the point of where this whole year revolved around a 50-year-old veteran, a 50-year-old man that was going out the door. You needed him to sell tickets to fill seats. And now look at you. He's gone. A lot of the fans are alienated. And this Cena thing would have never happened. This Cena hate, right, that we've experienced since last night would have never happened. The fans would have never booed you if you hadn't given a shit all year. But that's what we got creatively. Your job is to tell stories. He's failed at that. And I don't know what the hell they're going to do about this Cena thing. Well, because Cena's gone. You cannot rely on him to sell tickets anymore. He's gone. Done. Completely. If Saturday night's main event was any indication, he has completely washed his hands of his in-ring wrestling career. And for you, Triple H, that's a big problem. Because I fear for you. I fear for this company. Because if this last year, this whole year was any indication of what's to come, think about it. Think about how ridiculous, how bullshit this year would have been without John Cena. Cena got us through this year. Alone, he got us through this year. The only thing you cared about this year was Cena's last ride. That was it. Nothing else. You didn't give us anything else, anything fucking remotely close to what we deserved as a fan base. To tell just one story. Just one. Couldn't do it. You had to rely on cheap tricks. You had to rely on a 50-year-old Cena turning heel for the first time in over 20 years. You had to rely on stupid booking. And you knew, and see, the thing is this. They took advantage of the fact that we were there to see Cena. But you know what, Triple H? I want to see you do it without Cena. Because Roman, guess what? Roman, he's part-time now.
Rollins is hurt.
That motherfucker will not be there to save your ass. So I want to see what you're going to do now. What the fuck are you going to do when all your stars are not there to save you?
I feel you on.
We're going to find out.
I completely agree with you on that. For fans that are watching and or listening to this, and I really want you to really think about this, what I'm about to say. They just retired. That's literally just yesterday, December 13th, 2025. Next year is 2026. Cena is one of 7 superstars that Triple H is hanging onto by a thread. The names are this: Cena, Lesnar, Orton, Styles, Rollins, Roman, Cody. With those 7 names, we literally found out 1 to 2 weeks ago, 3 of them are out the door. That is Lesnar, that is Styles, that is Orton. You just said, bro, Roman is part-time. Rollins is currently hurt. You and I both know that Rollins and Roman's got a legitimate 1 to 1.5 years left in the WWE. And Cody admitted that his next contract will be his last contract. So technically, Cody is on the move to get his way out the door. We're looking at Triple H with his back against the wall of the lack of creativity of making new stars for the next coming year, in which that's what John Cena wanted in the very beginning once he made the tournament, the last time is now tournament, because he wanted to make new stars. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to make new stars based off the tournament because you used superstars that were past their prime. You didn't elevate anybody even when you tried to elevate them, and you didn't put them in a position to be elevated to get themselves ready for the main roster. There's not one single star within the tournament that you could legitimately say, that guy is next. That guy is next, in which that's what Cena wanted all along. And for fans that say, because we gotta keep it a buck here. For fans that say, like, because you and I both heard, like, they said, bring back Vince and stuff like that. All due respect to Vince, I don't want Vince back in this regime. I don't. There's sometimes in terms of sports, because you and I both watch sports, bro. We're talking about basketball, football, the whole 9 yards. Sometimes we both know in a matter of a company or a matter of a team, there's a new voice, right? But based on what you said, Kenny, I did some research over here. You said who did based off all the guys. I want you to check this out, bro. Triple H's rivalries that he has made under the regime of himself. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. Cody Rhodes versus Roman. You got. I can't hear you, bro. I can't hear you. Yeah.
Before you move on, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. That's not a Triple H creation.
Okay, correct. Thank you for the correction. Kevin Owens versus Cody. Punk versus Drew McIntyre. If you want to go from the woman's perspective, what's his name? Liv and Rhea Ripley. And that's a matter of a few. But look at Vince's rivalries. Hall of Fame rivalries. Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. Austin and Rock. Taker and Kane. Cena with Orton, Edge, and CM Punk. As far as I'm concerned, the top 3 rivals in Cena's career. If you want to go from the woman's perspective, what Vince did, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks. Trish and Lita. I could name over 15 rivalries that Vince had, and they were all-timers, right? People have to understand, when you have a great successor as what Vince did in the past over 20 years as a promoter and / creative, Triple H is held to a higher standard because you got to surpass the successor because you are the predecessor. Despite it's only 3 years in, people got their hopes up because what he did during the Roman Reigns era, as him being the tribal chief, they was like, oh my gosh, like, yo, Triple H is doing his thing. But Triple H's peak was WrestleMania 40. And ever since then, what has he done? He nosedive all the way down to the ground to rely on Guess what, bro? You said John Cena turning 50 years old, turning towards retirement. You know what else he did? He relied on a 48-year-old man in CM Punk to elevate the World Heavyweight Championship. How about relying on Jey Uso, who doesn't know a split of 5 moves to elevate ticket sales, but not elevate the superstar? Right? And how about not pushing LA Knight to a better sense of degree in which the fans want him to elevate to a superstar status? And there's a plethora of things that Triple H has done throughout this year that he could just completely flopped, that he dropped the ball on in terms of elevating creative and other superstars.
I'll say this, and beautifully put, by the way. Jey Uso being elevated to win the World Heavyweight Champion
Crime of the century.
is like trying to make a hoe a housewife. It will never happen. It will never happen. And you see that, right?
Mhm.
How can you definitively put Jey Uso win the fucking Royal Rumble, the most sacred gimmick match of all time?
Mhm.
How the hell do you, as a promoter, realistically say, yes, this is the guy. This is the guy over Braun Breaker, right? Over a plethora of superstars that you had there. Over Roman, over Cena that was retiring. Like you could
Yes.
over Punk.
Over Drew
You could have
McIntyre.
anybody else in there. Basically, 85 to 90% of the roster is better in the ring than Jey Uso. So you could have put any man in there to win, and it would have been much better than Jey Uso winning. That was the biggest blunder outside of the heel run. The heel turn was very good. And even then, that was, we're not even going to get into that. But outside of the heel turn,
Correct. It's all good.
or the heel run, I should say, outside of the heel run, the biggest blunder in Triple H's whole run this year was definitely Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. I don't know how you can objectively look at the whole roster and pick Jey Uso out, right, and say this is the guy that's going to take the wrestling world to new heights in 2025. What the fuck? What the fuck is that? What the fuck are you watching? We as fans even know that Jey Uso is not that legit. How the fuck can you convince yourself that he is? There's absolutely, like, if you watch Jey Uso's matches, there's absolutely nothing there that will tell you that this guy is box office in the ring, that he's good enough to carry that title.
Mm-hmm.
But that's neither here nor there, man.
Right. So like we practically, it's another thing is that, like, it's very funny that you brought up Jey Uso, because guess what? I gotta bring up Vince one more time. A similar superstar that was on the same standard as him. People's gonna think I'm gonna say Jeff Hardy. I'm not gonna say Jeff Hardy. Actually, I'm actually gonna say Kofi Kingston. Because the fact with Kofi Kingston, what Vince knew is that, like, he knew that it was going to be a one-off with Kofi Kingston. Because he knew, despite Kofi Kingston is talented, he's better known to be a tag team specialist, in which there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong being a tag team specialist. And the fact that with Vince, when he made Kofi Kingston win the WWE Championship one time for the one time, he knew it was going to be short term. Now, you would think people was going to say, like, oh, when Jey Uso won the WWE Championship, it was going to be short term. No, here's the difference. When Kofi Kingston lost the WWE Championship, Vince McMahon did not feed Kofi down our throats to make him win the championship again. With this year, Triple H did that with Jey Uso on a multitude of occasions.
Yes, the CM Punk,
just to try to regain the World Heavyweight Championship. And it actually diminished the character of Jey Uso organically and indirectly, just by Triple H not accepting the fact that Jey Uso is not main event material. Right? That's something Vince knew with Kofi that Triple H didn't do with Jey Uso. Right? So the fact of the matter is, just to summarize everything that we just spoke of, Triple H did a horrendous job this year. A big fat F of what he did in 2025 compared to what he was. Can
I say something?
As a creative, completely nosedive.
Can I say something? Triple H was never that good as a creative, okay? and I'm not sitting here trying to make hot takes, but Triple H was never good as a creative. This is exactly what Triple H should be, a mediocre booker. He is not a great booker. Okay, let's talk about NXT for a second. As for those of you that said, well, he did it in NXT. Yeah, he did. But guess who was in NXT too? Guess who? Guess who was his consigliere, his right-hand man? That would happen to be the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Yes, God rest his soul.
And when
Yes,
Dusty,
there's a huge difference.
When Dusty died, God rest his soul, when he died, NXT turned into something else until Hunter got that call up, and then after that, Shawn took over, and that's when NXT returned to its to its former glory. Okay, but NXT was never the same once Dusty died. Okay, and that's who I give credit for. Hunter was never ever the A guy, never, even in his own era, and we're seeing it right now.
Yeah, it's very interesting to fully give an honest review about Triple H, because we gotta call a spade a spade. He didn't really do a horrendous job this year. It goes to show you that Tony Khan did a better job than Triple H, despite Tony Khan doesn't put pen to paper. Despite Tony Khan isn't consistent with the matches that he puts on AEW television. But the fact that he puts on consistent matches and storytelling to some degree in terms of his pay-per-views, in which is where fans really give him the harsh critique of the product that is AEW. Tony Khan, gotta give him credit, did a better and consistent job than Triple H did in 2025. And we gotta call a spade a spade. Now, in terms of Gunther, going back to Gunther, quite recently, late last night, there was a video that showed that Gunther was being followed by fans towards his tour bus, cursing at him, throwing the whole 9 yards, throwing snow at him, whatever, because he beat the greatest of all time in John Cena, and fans didn't really take happy to that. Now, the question you may have for yourself is, what do you do with Gunther? In my opinion, I've been saying this for months, weeks, for people that follow me on TikTok, for people that follow me on YouTube, people were against me when I said this. If it was me, if I'm Triple H, I am making this man Gunther go after Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. Change is needed in the WWE. Cody Rhodes is one of them in terms of him being WWE champion. Because as right now, Cody Rhodes doesn't elevate anybody in the main roster right now, because everyone on SmackDown is a household name. And the competition on SmackDown is very stagnant due to the fact that Cody Rhodes is a face. And there are not a lot of heels on SmackDown that you could run with Cody. It's a matter of repetitive competition. With Gunther, the fact that his heel status is at an all-time high right now. You don't waste an opportunity like that of him beating John Cena and not reward him. You reward Gunther by making him face Cody Rhodes and beat him in the Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship, so that change is needed. Not only for the main roster, but for SmackDown. Due to the fact that since this is going back 3 hours, you need a significant change on the SmackDown brand. And I think with Gunther winning the WWE Championship is the way to go.
I don't hate it. I don't love it either, honestly.
Yep.
Okay, so here's my initial thoughts about the whole Gunther situation. Booking Gunther to tap Cena out, we'll know if it's the right move, I think, in the next coming months, right?
Okay.
But my initial thoughts about this is that they've booked themselves into a corner, okay?
Yes.
Gunther he cannot lose.
Yep.
And what does that tell you, right? That tells me that he's not going after a title anytime soon, okay? And here's why.
Okay.
Cody is Triple H's guy, okay? Whether we want to admit that fact or not, it's true. Gunther will lose to Cody if he goes up. Like if he goes and fight for the title, Gunther will lose to Cody, and here's why. The logic behind Gunther losing to Cody would be Cody beat Cena already as well. Okay, so the logic is whatever Gunther did in beating Cena, Cody did it all too as well. So it's not inconceivable that Cody can beat Gunther, or Cody should go over Gunther. And I think judging by the trajectory of what the booking has been all year, the one thing that we can trust Triple H to do is to put over Cody Rhodes in any situation, whether we like it or don't like it, which is why I think that he will not go fight towards a champion. I think their plans with Gunther is a little bigger than both titles right now. And the fact is, and let's just call it like we see it. Gunther retired
Mm-hmm.
Goldberg and Cena in the same
Yes.
calendar year. Next year, there are also a few superstars that are going to be retiring. I don't know if you noticed that, but
It's AJ,
there's a
AJ,
there's a
Chris Jericho. Yes.
right. So the logic behind that is that Gunther, right, and we believe that Chris Jericho will come back to the main roster at some point, right, this year, next year,
Yes. Yes.
right. So the logic would be to pair him up with Jericho, right, do a program with Jericho, beat Jericho, retire Jericho, and then obviously retire AJ Styles as well. I think they're going to give this, this new persona of Gunther, the legend killer, like how they
Mm-hmm.
did with Randy, right? A legend killer moniker, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
he goes out and he's basically a
Okay.
mercenary for hire and defeats all these legends on their way out and puts them out of their misery. That is the story that I believe they're going to tell with Gunther moving forward.
I can't knock that. I can't knock that at all because it looks like that's the way that it might possibly go to. But the thing is, here's why I push back on that just a little bit. Is because we talked about this back then, bro. As of right now, there's not one reliable heel in WWE that you could say that can beat Cody Rhodes until right now.
Sure.
So the thing is, with Gunther, he's at an all-time high right now, in which we agree that you literally just said that he can't lose, right? But the fact that he can't lose is the reason why you make this man go against Cody Rhodes, due to the fact of a high level heel superstar going against Cody Rhodes in a better program and a rivalry that Cody Rhodes would have been in since Kevin Owens. And I'm talking about a full-fledged rivalry.
Yeah, correct. But Cody
Right.
can't lose either. Cody can't lose either because he's been booked that way, right? He's been booked that way all year. The only match that Cody has lost in the last calendar year has been against Cena. Clean. Well, not even clean because he cheated
Yeah.
to win.
Yeah.
But
Got you.
like Cody can't lose either. So my thing is, if it's not WrestleMania, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even at WrestleMania, like I think that WrestleMania poster matters, right? And
Okay.
if we don't know what Roman is going to do as of yet, it becomes very, very tricky, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Roman faces off against Cody, I don't think Roman wins that match at WrestleMania, right?
Mm.
Right, because he's a part timer now. So like
Yeah.
I have a hard time seeing Cody losing right now to
Mm-hmm.
to anyone, because as presently constructed, like you said, you don't really have any heel, and I don't think they want to tie Gunther down by having him bury the whole roster in his wake as of yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just waiting for the right time to do that, which is why I would
Would
pair
you?
him up with
Mhm.
those legends that are coming in right now, and then just have them
Okay.
put them out of their misery.
Would you? Okay. Would you? Because the thing is, this thing reminds me of when Brock Lesnar beat the Undertaker, and within that same year that he beat the Undertaker, he defeated John Cena later on that year. So the fact that, like, if he goes on a retirement mercenary run by retiring these superstars, like he did Goldberg, Cena, Jericho, Styles, maybe Lesnar, you go after the WWE Championship and win. So there are two things that could possibly be true. If he goes on a retirement mercenary run by retiring all these legends and then go after the WWE Championship, basically it could possibly be a win-win situation. Because what the thing is with Gunther, based on your idea, you're erasing the old era, right? You're
Yeah,
erasing you're erasing the era that Vince McMahon has made,
exactly.
right? Right.
That's
And then,
Gunther's whole vibe,
okay,
right? Like
got you,
he
got you.
wants to get rid of all the entertainment part of wrestling. He wants to
Mm-hmm.
eradicate that completely, right? And
Got
destroy
you.
all these legends that we grew up watching. That's what he wants to do.
Yeah. So it's and later on I would reward him with the WWE title, because it's very funny that you said that, because I didn't know that this was said during the match, and I was surprised that this happened. Michael Cole said that pro wrestling killed sports entertainment, right? And by saying that, and based on what your idea on the mercenary retirement tour, by going after all these legends, I think that's what you mean in terms of the next stage for Gunther.
Yeah.
By going on that mercenary retirement run, by killing off all these legends, will put Gunther at a pedestal to where
No one would have that
you
resume ever. Think about it.
correct, correct.
Right. He would retire Goldberg, Cena, Styles, potentially Brock at WrestleMania next year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or no, SummerSlam next year in
Yeah.
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
He would have retired. He would have retired. Who else? Chris Jericho. Like, there's a lot to be gained from that. Like, these are not just championships that he's won. Like, Gunther could go for the title anytime he wants. That's not even the question. If he beats all those guys and retires them, he's erasing wrestling history as we know it. He's in rarefied air. So you have him go up against these guys and completely eradicate a section of wrestling that we've been enchanted by for decades. That puts him in a class of his own. No one can lay claim to that. No one would have that resume. He's dangerous. Like, at that point, he's a Hall of Famer. If he did that, he's a Hall of Famer. Right now, he doesn't necessarily have a Hall of Fame resume, right? You can make a case that he does, but I mean, a few championship wins here and there, you know. He's a good promo. Not the greatest promo, but he's a good promo.
I mean,
you know.
If he were retired today, I would say Gunther's a Hall of Famer today.
I mean, borderline Hall of Famer. But if he beats, right? If he beats all of those guys that I'm talking about, he will never need to win any more championships. He will never need to. He's a first ballot. Right now, he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He will be a first ballot, meaning the minute he retires, his ass is in the Hall of Fame. If he does all of that, right? Right now, he doesn't have a first ballot. I should say this. Let me clarify. He doesn't have a first ballot Hall of Fame resume.
Resume. Okay, that's better.
Right. But if he did all of that, let's say Gunther never wins another championship in his whole career, but retires all of those legends and leaves them in his wake, he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer by the time he's done doing all of that. And he could do that in a span of 2 to 3 years in terms of, you know, the timeline of how everything is going. I think 2 legends he's going to retire next year, certainly retire next year, which is Styles and most likely Brock Lesnar. So,
and Chris Jericho.
This
3.
Yeah, maybe Chris Jericho. I don't know how long Chris Jericho is going to sign with the WWE. I'm not sure if it's going to be a 2 or 3 year deal. That's why we do know, right?
Okay.
Right. We do know that Brock Lesnar is set to leave next year's SummerSlam in Minneapolis, and Styles is confirmed to retire next year. We don't know when, but he is confirmed to leave next year. So
he said
if he
Styles
beats
said,
guys,
after WrestleMania.
Yeah. Okay.
Styles said
So
WrestleMania.
if he beats, got you. So if he beats those 2 guys, those 2 people, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So that to me is what I believe they will do with him. I think Gunther is going to be fully booked until next year's SummerSlam at the very least. Right. And then once he does that, like once he finishes his program with Brock Lesnar and once he successfully slays the beast, I think then we'll go into a program with him and the WWE Championship.
Okay. Cool. And because the thing is, I'm a fan of Gunther, and I have no problem with that. Because with your lips, from what you just said, I'm all game, and that's what's up, bro. Because Gunther, I'm with you all day, every day, bro. I've been with you since day one, so I got you. So is Kenny, but I've been with you since the NXT UK days, straight up. And that dude's a dog.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah, man. Those matches he put up with Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, he put up some instant classics,
and
man.
Ilya Dragunov, sweet Jesus. And so it's the only best is yet to come with Gunther in terms of his Mercenary retirement tour. I really like that. I really like saying that. But
he's a mercenary for hire right now.
Yeah, and it's going to be really, really
and
interesting
I love
to see it
because the thing is,
and everybody should too.
The Raw's general manager, he just put out a statement saying that Gunther will be on Raw tomorrow, and he's going to have a lot to say. I think what they're going to do is basically set him up now because listen, we're in WrestleMania season now. Right? It's WrestleMania season now. So all of the, emotions are going to come out and obviously the fans are going to hate and boo him. Him retiring, like you got to realize him retiring Styles and Brock Lesnar and John Cena.
Kind of break it up a little bit, bro.
6 months.
Yeah.
Anyway, within the span of 6 months, him retiring all those 3 legends in the span of 6 months is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. But yeah,
His own best is yet to come with Gunther, man. But like, yeah, but that's the Wrestling Hypothesis podcast where we break the hype. We definitely expose the truth on Triple H, and we definitely saw how we spoke for fans that really sees the business for what it is today. I'm your man, Ricardo. King Kenny, as always bringing the business to the podcast. As always, we'll see you next time, and peace.
peace out.